little voidlings, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I got a new sketchbook, and this is actually my third sketchbook, and I didn't want to leave it as blank and boring as it is, but I wanted to be as cool as all the other creators and actually personalize it. And I first thought I could go with some stickers, but to be honest, that didn't really feel like myself. So I thought, since the paint for labeling my sketchbook actually went on pretty well, I could just paint on it. So I thought about doing something very vibrant, and I got the idea of an astronaut floating or falling in space, I don't know. And yeah, I wanted to put him on the right corner and then, I don't know, put a sun or something and some text with which is saying sketchbook #3. So I thought I'd take you along for the process so you can maybe design your sketchbook cover with me or get some inspiration, and I hope you'll enjoy the process. So come along. So I always start small with a quick thumbnail sketch, which actually helps me to test the composition and see if it even works before committing to a bigger sketch. So at this stage, it's not about the detail, it's just like to see if the overall idea kind of works. And I also wanted to get the anatomy of the astronaut, like, not right, but close to right, if you know what I mean. So that I can just see if the posture he does works for what I wanted to have him do. And to be honest, I kind of struggled with his arms a little bit. And for his left arm, so the right arm from our perspective, I wanted it to be a lot bigger perspectively because it is much closer to our point of view. And I really didn't know how to do this in the small thumbnail, so then I actually moved on to the bigger sketch and tried to first put down the hand because I was really struggling with that, which actually went kind of well. I actually used a reference, so yeah, I think I went to Pinterest because I first used some pictures of my own hand, but they didn't turn out the way I wanted them to. So then I went to Pinterest and found pictures of hands and used them as reference. And as you can see, I'm constructing the fingers with cylinders. And for the fingertips, I always draw a circle and then draw the fingertip around it. And yeah, I wanted to have the fingers a little bit bent upwards because it should seem like the astronaut is actually falling, and that would make him panic probably, and therefore he would probably stretch his hands. So that is what I wanted to symbolize here, and that's why I redrew the pointing finger actually. Yeah, and then I threw away that idea and just drew the other fingers in a way that were in the reference because I was a little bit struggling with the hands. Yeah, but I think they turned out okay-ish. I mean, it's just a rough sketch, so who cares? I hope you will not judge me for my hand drawing sketches, but if you want to, feel free. Yeah, and then I just moved on to the arm, which is then partly behind the hand and also getting smaller the more we move away from the hand. And yeah, I just hung along the the reference to do that. And then I actually changed the reference to another one for drawing the torso. Yeah, I just looked up some torsos. I think I took a 3D model as sketch because I actually recognized that drawing from 3D models is easier for me, at least, than drawing from two-dimensional pictures. Yeah, if you're struggling with referencing two-dimensional pictures, maybe try that. I can link the page I'm using for references, so you can have a look in the description. I will include a link there if I don't forget it, and then you can take a look if that makes it easier for you to draw. And I wanted that second hand I'm drawing right now actually to look like he just lost grip of something or he's reaching for something. And I redrew it a lot of time and then stopped when I didn't want to retouch it anymore. Not because I was satisfied, but I had to redo the sketch anyways on the front of my sketchbook, so I decided that it was finished, not because it was good. And then I moved on to the legs, and I wanted the legs to also look like he just slipped off an edge, and that's why they should be in front of his body, and I think they are fine that way. I think they're looking better in the thumbnail, but yeah, I can fix that later. I'm telling myself. Yeah, and then I retouched his suit, or put the suit on top of him. I added a monitor on his chest and an oxygen tank on his back, and of course the helmet, so he doesn't suffocate on us for the next 2 minutes he's floating into space. And then I actually did another thumbnail, which I wanted to do to look if another position or another body position of him would look better. So if he is angled a little bit more, if it looks a little bit more like he's falling. But to be honest, that one just looks like he's holding a gun and firing at something. So I decided to go with my first sketch and then just start painting on my sketchbook. And as you can see, I'm sketching with a white Posca pen, and what I actually thought was pretty cool is that I could remove a lot of it as long as the Posca pen was still wet, so I could just use a wet towel and just remove the paint. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. I could actually redo stuff. So as you can see, it wasn't going that well. I had to redo the left hand a lot of times, so yeah, a little bit of paint stayed on that, but I thought I could go over with black paint anyway, so that should be fine afterwards. And then, as you can see, I went in with colors. So at first I just wanted to put down the lighter colors to see where the lighting goes, and then I wanted to go in with a very vibrant color to make that transition line from the light to the shadow, which I actually did with an orange. So the shadow was in a light yellow, and then I just went in with orange, and after that I actually went in with a darker orange to refine that, to make it more vibrant. And yeah, I'm just going in step by step and layering. And I actually got asked on Threads how I'm choosing my colors, so I don't know if that is the best example, because that is not exactly the style I'm usually doing, but how I usually choose my colors is that I choose 2 to 3 main colors. So I'm usually choosing a color palette for a drawing, and for this one it was yellow, pink and violet, I think, where pink and violet is probably the same, and then I chose blue as an accent color. And what I do then is that for each color I choose 3 different tones. So if I choose, for example, orange, I get a light orange, a mid-toned orange, and a dark orange. And then I can do the shading. So I usually go in with the lightest color for each of them first, and then build up darker colors on top of that. So that is what I usually do. And what you can see now is that I wanted to have very vibrant shadows. So I went in with a light pink or rose color and just shaded the shadows. And then I went in with the mid-toned pink and made the transition, I think, from the shadow part to the darkest part, because I wanted to have a rose reflecting light from the shadows. I don't know if you can call it shadows if it is reflecting, but you know what I mean. And the yellow light going from the other side that then is in contrast to that pink from the other, to that reflecting light. So what I actually think is when you choose colors, it is much easier if you actually limit your color palette. So I think it's the 3 and 3 rule, I would call it. So I usually pick 2 to 3 colors, as I said, and then just use 3 different dark tones, light tones, you know what I mean. Like the highlight, the shadow, and the mid-tone for each color. And that usually makes my color picking very easy. And as you can see, I'm now going in with the violet color, which should be the darkest part of my painting, because I have that reflective light. So there is the part of the astronaut where no yellow light hits and where no reflecting light hits, and that is then the darkest part, which I'm coloring in violet. And as you can see, I first wanted to do it in blue, but I thought that the contrast was too much, so I went in with the violet, and I like it much better that way. And it actually dries a lot darker than it looks when putting down, so that was a plus too, I think. I think the contrast is actually coming out very well. And to be honest, I really love how the vibrant colors are actually popping on the black sketchbook itself. And I was quite surprised how well they laid down on that textured sketchbook, because as you might have seen, this is the Ohuhu sketchbook for alcohol markers, and I was really not sure if there would be a lot of feathering, if I would be able to cover up if I draw mistakes or anything. But I tried it a little bit with the sketchbook #3 label on my spine. Not my spine, my sketchbook spine. I don't have a tattoo on my spine. Would be really weird to have a tattoo saying sketchbook #3 on your spine. But anyways, I tried that with the letters to cover up and refine them with a black marker, and that also went really well, which gave me a huge confidence boost to actually start it. To start coloring on that cover. And I'm very glad I did that, because I already like how it's turning out. And I hope you like it too. So at this point, I actually wanted it to be more vibrant, so I went down with a more saturated orange, or a red orange, something between red and orange. And refined or saturated the line between the shadows and the light a bit more. And what I wanted to tell you is that I actually had a little bit of art block before or while making that video. Before actually starting the recording, I warmed up my wrist and did a few sketches. And to be honest, after not drawing for a while, which I did because I had exam phase, bless God it is over, I didn't draw for a while, and I feel like you forget how anatomy works, or I don't know, I studied drawing hands a lot, but I think after a while I just forget how I did it or how I constructed hands. And since I really wanted the hand to be a main piece of that drawing, because it is perspective wise very close, I was a little bit scared to not be able to pull it off, but actually it turned out quite well, even in the sketch, I think. And so yeah, what actually helped me is just start drawing, not give up. Was a very big part, because my first sketches looked horrible, so I actually erased them completely, so they are no longer in this world with us. But yeah, to be honest, just keep on drawing and don't beat yourself up if it isn't working, because everyone goes through that, and I think it's totally normal to not be that good at drawing anymore if you made a pause for a while, or took a break for a while. So yeah, I don't think that you have to judge yourself that you aren't as good as you were, or that you aren't as good as someone else, because you can improve so fast if you just put a little bit of effort and time in. And I think one should always keep that in mind, that the biggest part of winning in drawing is actually, or in winning in life, is actually not giving up. So, but these are enough wise words for a drawing video, I think. So as you can see, I'm actually cleaning up all the edges with a black acrylic marker, and that worked very well, as you can see. So if I'm looking at my cover now, you can actually not tell that I fixed that with a black marker. So that is actually a very good thing. So I hope that I can also fix that painting or touch it up later if it gets worn out, if I take my sketchbook somewhere, or if it, gets damaged over time because I throw it in bags. And yeah, then I actually added a border around my astronaut, and I was very conflicting about that because I wanted him to seem like he's a little bit glowing. So that's why I used that red paint marker. But then I thought, yeah, I cannot use that on the shadow side of him, so I used a blue marker to contrast that. And I actually think it turned out pretty well, but I was really scared about that. But in hindsight, I could have just covered it up with a black pen if I didn't like it, so yeah. Nothing to worry about here. And I actually really like how it turned out, so that's that, I guess. So, and after lining the red star in the background, I actually thought I needed something to pull this all together, or to make it look more like a finished piece. So I actually decided to put a border around the astronaut, which I wanted to be violet, so I chose violet. Very simple thinking here. And I think that actually pulls the illustration together very well. And surprise, I actually discovered that works for a lot of my paintings and drawings. So just putting a shape behind your drawing in whatever color you want can pull together your painting very well. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do here. And then I added the text, which should say sketchbook. #3, and I wanted to make the text a little bit glowing, so I'm actually going in with a lighter color to give it that glowing effect, and then clean up the letters to look a little bit more neat, or a little bit neater than they looked before. And yeah, you cannot believe how often I laid out the letters in my head so I don't mess up that text up there, or that I don't misspell it. I know I could have probably fixed it, but I didn't want to take any chances. And then I'm adding a few highlights to the border in the back, because I just wanted to make it a little bit more interesting, and I think that also worked very well. And that is actually almost the finished illustration. Yeah, I remember I actually added a few stars to make it look like he's floating in space, so that there's actually something behind it, or more like a lot of nothingness behind him. And yeah, I think that I did that job well enough, I think, and that is the finished illustration. I hope you like it. I am very happy with it, to be honest. I really like how the vibrant image is coming together on that black background, and I will for sure do the inner cover, so I will do a welcome spread inside my sketchbook. So stay tuned, and I hope you liked it. I hope to see you very soon in my next video, and I hope you consider subscribing, and I see you then. Bye!